What is CSS3? Firstly, CSS is abbreviation for cascading style sheets, which is what web developers use to style up web pages. The current version of CSS is CSS3, although they not have released it yet, but they have released a working draft on the 14th of August 2012, so we still have the pleasure of using the new features. There are many new CSS3 features available, which includes slide with cubic Bezier speed, slide with opacity, rotate on the x-axis, rotate with modified origin, scaling animation with keyframe, skew animation with keyframe, and best of all, 3D rotate. Here are 3 examples of what each transformations look like when they're coded up. First is rotation, and it is rotating at 90 degrees. Next is scale, which is scaling down half of its size. Lastly is skewer, which is skewering 20 to 20 degrees. Notice that all of these transforms have the same first code, WebKit. WebKit allows some CSS3 features to view in Google Chrome and Safari. Also, there is code for other browsers, such as MOZ for Firefox, MS for IE, and O for Opera. On this website, it will help you to understand which CSS3 features work in each browser. CSS3 not only allows you to use the features individually, but also you can combine different features together, also timing each step. In your code, simply add a class called move to your tag, then add this section to your CSS. Now that was only 2D transformations. 3D has other transformations as well, which include translate on the X, Y, or Z axes, rotate on the X, Y, or Z axes, and matrix 3D. Then as the same as 2D transforms, this is their code. There is also another 3D feature called perspective. Do you see the difference with and without perspective? Once you've got the hang of it, you could be creating something like this. We are now going to look at the CSS3 features that were used inside the website, which was shown at the beginning of this video. Also, I will be using Adobe Dreamweaver CS6 to view my code. Now let's get stuck into it. Firstly, on the index page, I am going to show you how this slideshow animation was coded up. So in the source code, there is a div tag with an ID called inSlider, which holds each image inside of its own li, then which the LIs have their own class names. Now looking at the CSS, you can see each li it's grabbing to create each animation. As you may remember, these sections are making it to view in Firefox, Google Chrome, and Safari. The next is a name, which can be called anything that you desire, which then calls out the CSS for the animations. Next is duration, to time how long it takes for pictures to slide in and out, which then has a linear effect. This then repeats for infinity times. Now with these word connections, it reads it to this code, and then reads out where to start at each degree and where it's placed with opacity and a Z index. This is then repeated for all the images in different browsers. To create the progress bar animation, it has a linkage name called full expand. Next is 25 seconds, which needs to be the same as the image's timing in order for the timing to be correct. Also, an ease effect is included with duration to be repeated for infinity times. Then again is each degree time with an animating width of a percentage for a progression look, and also an opacity. Back to the other CSS is a title of a picture which only works on a hover. On the hover, it takes 3 seconds to slide in with an ease in and out effect. Then with the same hover, the time progress bar is paused. Now the next CSS animation is on the About page, looking at the flip animation. In the source code, there is a div tag with an ID of FL container, and inside is FL card. For the CSS, the container has a perspective of 1000 pixels, which makes it look like it's turning. Then the card has a transform style of perspective 3D in order to see the text on the other side. It also has a transition of a linear effect, which goes for 1 second. Lastly, to finish this animation, it is rotated on the y-axis at 80 degrees on the hover state. Next is the menu page, and the animation is a menu turning. In the source code, there is a UL tag called menu choice, and inside are 3 li menus, each holding an image and a menu info div with a heading and a button. Looking at the CSS for the tags, menu choice li has a perspective of 500 for the right angle, also a perspective 3D for the flow when going for 5 seconds. Then when hovering over an li, it changes perspective to 5000. Next is images, which is rotated on the y-axis at 30 degrees with a transform which is going for a duration of 5 seconds. Then when hovering over an image, it rotates to 0 degrees and scales half more of the size and translates on the y-axis at -20 pixels to move up. Next is menu info, which is the title and a button. It has a translate on the z-axis of 30 pixels and a rotation on the y-axis of 30 degrees, which then has a duration of 5 seconds. After is a hover event, which the menu rotates on the y-axis at 0 degrees to face forwards, and it translates on the y-axis at -20 pixels to move up, just like the image. That was all the CSS3 2D and 3D animations that were used throughout the website. Bear in mind, this website was only created with HTML5 and CSS3. Now your test is to see what you come up with your website. Lastly, thank you all viewers for watching my video about my new technology. And remember, have fun coding with CSS3.
CSS3 animation.